see me wearing my mental health nurse shirt representing the mental health advocates. Yes, I've been a mental health and psychiatric trained nurse for 17 going on to 18 years. Now, I work with clients who are diagnosed with mental illnesses, specifically schizophrenia. So this week, as we're celebrating Nurses Week, I just wanted to share with you what I do as a mental health and psychiatric nurse out in the community. Hey, welcome back to my channel. If you're new to me here, my name is Yashika Turner, and on this channel, we strive to create a holistically happier and healthier lifestyle abundantly in faith. Now, yes, you see me wearing my mental health nurse shirt representing the mental health advocates. Yes, I've been a mental health and psychiatric trained nurse for 17 going on to 18 years. Now, I work with clients who are diagnosed with mental illnesses, specifically schizophrenia. So this week, as we're celebrating Nurses Week, I just wanted to share with you what I do as a mental health and psychiatric nurse out in the community. Now, I will be talking about the mental illnesses. What does mental illnesses looks like? You know, I find it is very important for us to educate ourselves, to be knowledgeable around mental illnesses. We need to break that stigma. Are you with me? Drop it in the comments. We are breaking the stigma. We need to take control of our mental health, and we need to be knowledgeable enough to identify when there is someone close to us amongst our family and our friends that might have some signs and symptoms of a mental illness, and be able to confront them, to talk openly about it, just as we would talk openly about a physical condition. You know, you have diabetes, hypertension, and everybody know that, you know, take care of her. You go to a function, and you know what they said? People who are diagnosed with diabetes, please come to the front of the line. You will be served first. You know why? Because we know, we check in and we know that their blood glucose level will drop, leading to complications because they're diabetic. Now, do we do the same when it comes on to our mental health? No, because nobody talks about it. It's a big taboo. It's a big hush hush, especially in our Black community, African American, Caribbean people. We don't want to talk about mental illnesses because we're ashamed. People are going to talk about it. No, we need to know that, hey, this person has some anxiety, or this person is depressed. We need to collaborate, and we need to look out for this person who is high risk for suicide because they're depressed. Do we do that? No. Well, it's time for us to do that. So in today's video, I will be discussing the signs and symptoms of mental illnesses. What does a mental illness really looks like? Let's get into it. Now, before we get there, mental illnesses are disturbance in our thoughts, feelings, and perceptions which are severe enough to affect our daily living, our daily lifestyle, or we act, or we think, and the things that we do. So mental illnesses affects our doing, or feeling, or being, right? So let's look at some signs and symptoms of mental illnesses. Now, as you know, just the same as physical illnesses, there are different signs and symptoms. For example, respiratory illnesses will have different symptoms compared to a GI illness. Say you have gastroenteritis, you'll have vomiting, diarrhea. When you have a respiratory illness and you know you're stuffy, you're congested, you're coughing. So with mental illnesses, there are a wide variety of different types of mental illnesses, which oftentimes their signs and symptoms might look different. But in today's video, I will be sharing the most significant, obvious signs that are usually significant around most of most of our mental illnesses. So number one, changes in our appetite or sleep pattern. Now, when you have a mental illness, for example, depression, when you're depressed, you have no interest in eating, or you might eat too much. You have no interest in sleeping, or you might sleep too much. So this is where it goes. Either too much or too little, too much or too little. So that's one of the symptoms of depression, affecting the appetite and your sleep. Look around, write them down, go get a pen and a paper, because after today's video, you will be educated and knowledgeable enough to identify some signs of mental illnesses around your friends, families, and loved ones. Number two, change in thoughts, how we think. Are our thoughts organized? Are our thoughts logical? Does what we're thinking make sense? Do we think that there are people around us talking about us? Do we think that the TV can hear what's going on inside of our head? Right? Do you think that people are plotting against you? So these are disturbances in thoughts. Now, these can be hallucinations, delusions. When it comes on to schizophrenia, now these are specific signs and symptoms when it comes on to schizophrenia. In depression or anxiety, it might look different. Different thoughts. How are you thinking? How are you feeling? You know what's going on up here in your brain. So different things starts going on. So now you need to assess to see, okay, why is this person thinking like this? They don't usually think like this. They don't usually have this paranoia thought about somebody's coming to get them. Or maybe feeling that they have some high power. They are the CEO of an organization, which they're not, but it's the thoughts in their head. Having the thoughts that somebody is poisoning their food and not going to eat it, right? So that's number two, the thoughts in the head. Number three, feelings of withdrawal, feelings of sadness, or feelings of isolation. Do you recognize this person is just locked away in their room, or locked away? You haven't seen them or heard from them in days. You call them, they don't want to pick up the phone. You try to go and visit them, knock on the door, they don't answer. They're just withdrawn, isolated, and we prefer to be left alone in darkness. Have you seen that? That's a sign of depression, right? And if you have seen my previous video, which I did, I would advise for you to go and watch it. Yes, after you finish watching this video of what does good mental health looks like, where I did talk about some of these signs and symptoms, bad mental health and good mental health. Okay, so that's number three, feeling of isolation. Number four, decline in functioning. So they're lacking the energy to perform normal day-to-day tasks and activities. They're not showering. They're not cooking like they used to do. They're not tidying up, cleaning up. You go visit and the place is a mess. And you know, this is not the norm. This is not the usual. You know, this person is usually a clean person who usually takes care of themselves. But no, they're getting into, from the bad mental health part of it to now creeping up into signs of mental illnesses, signs of depression. You're so depressed, there is no energy to pick yourself up, to get dressed, to shower. Those daily normal routine now feels like a burden and feels impossible to complete these tasks. Signs of mental illnesses. Number Where are we? Number 5. Number 4. Lack of interest in things or activities that usually lights them up, brings them joy, usually excites them. No interest anymore. Do you want to go out to movies? Usually they pick up the phone. Can we go out to movies? And you call. You want to go to movies? No. Do you want to go for a road trip? No. Do you want to go for a dinner? Go out for lunch? No. Nothing that they used to enjoy, they enjoy doing anymore. They prefer to be left alone in their own space, in their own bubble, because they are giving up hope. Another one is unusual behavior. Do you see this person doing things that are out of the norm, such as going on a shopping spree, wearing different bright colors, bright lipstick? They're just acting, their speech is different, they're talking fast, and they're so excited, which is not their baseline, right? This can be a symptom of mania, mood disorder, manic, schizoaffective, right? So these can be different signs of different mental illnesses, right? So you have to be keen in observing different behaviors. Another unusual behavior can be suspicious looking. They're like, you have this glare in their eyes, and they're thinking that people are against them. So they just look at the stance as if, don't come close to me. Those are different looks, different behaviors. Do you see people hurting themselves, self-harm? Mental illnesses, especially teenagers, are oftentimes they slit their wrists, cut themselves, they have cuts, slices all over, self-harm. Those are unusual behaviors, right? So we have to be vigilant, we have to be observant, and we have to know the signs and symptoms of mental illnesses to approach these people and to suggest for them to get professional help. Stigma, the stigma, the stigma, the stigma. Research shows that stigma is one of the biggest problems which prevents people from getting help for mental illnesses and early support. You know, I use diabetes so many times, especially with educating my clients and families as well. When it comes on to diabetes or hypertension, we all know the signs and symptoms of low blood pressure or low blood sugar and high blood sugar. What happens when someone gets low on their blood glucose level? What should we do? Mix the sugar and water and you put it in their mouth. Give them something sweet. We need to be aware and be prepared of that same knowledge and education as any other physical condition. We know if somebody is having an allergic reaction, what do? We grab an EpiPen, we give them some Benadryl, these different things. Somebody's having a heart attack, give them some aspirin. What do we do when somebody is in a mental health crisis? When somebody is having all these signs and symptoms for especially 2 weeks or more? This person might be depressed, leading into severe depression, which is a pre-factor for suicide. So being aware, intervening can save the life of someone. Now, if this video makes any sense, let me know in the comment. What is one thing you learned watching this video today? Thank you so much for watching, and I will be sharing more mental health content if I see the engagement. If I see the likes, the shares, and the comments, let me know. Thank you so much. See you in my next video. Bye for now.